Hi everyone, good evening. My name is Niharika Ghadge and I welcome you all to a new session as a part of YLCC's Legal Career-A-Thon series where we have experts to guide you all. Today we have with us Mr. Amit Karkhanis sir. Welcome sir and thank you so much for joining. Sir is here to guide us on career in the medico-legal sector. Sir is the founder of Chambers of Amit Karkhanis and is a senior panel lawyer for the Union of India. He has had over 2 decades of experience in the medico-legal laws and intellectual property laws. Sir got his bachelor's degree from Mumbai University and master's degree of law from Newcastle University. He has also been a founding partner at K Legal and Associates LLP and has been a partner at Grievous Legal. If time permits, we shall have the audience's questions at the end of the session. So I request the audience members to pin down their questions in the chat box. And I request you all to mute yourselves so that there's no disturbance during the session. Over to you, sir, please.
At the outset, thank you very much, Niharika. I think so. We had a brief conversation. I had a brief conversation with you on this topic on LinkedIn, I guess. So this is for the second time I'm talking about career in medical legal aspects. Few years back, I had an opportunity to talk on this subject in that lecture series called Hammurabi Tablets, which is conducted here in Mumbai. I'll first tell you how I got into this, because the thing I can tell you for sure is that having a exclusive standalone career in medico-legal is still far away in India, because medico-legal or medical laws as a specialization is not yet developed. People don't look at it as a standalone career option, like you have IPR, like you have banking and finance, like you have transaction, you have corporate law, you have hardcore litigation laws. So this always is coupled, or it is always tagged along with some other specializations that lawyers do. Another interesting fact that I have come across over last so many years is that very few law firms, I haven't come across any big Indian law firms or even foreign law firms who are operating here in India having a dedicated partner or a dedicated team doing medical legal or medical laws in the country. So that also speaks volumes about the career prospects that you may have in this medical legal sector. Having said this, healthcare is a very big industry. It's a sunrise industry for India. The government has come out with the health policy also. They are encouraging medical tourism. It's looked upon as a next big thing in India after IT sector and pharmaceutical sector. These are the two other sectors which are very popular and extremely developed in this country. Same is the case with medical, that is hospitals and allied services. In spite of that, we don't see major law firms having special partners handling this case, medical legal or desk in these firms where students or budding lawyers or freshers can go and get some experience. I have not understood why this is not happening. So bulk of the medical legal practice in the country is focused around people like me, individuals, and their chambers basically. And it is not law firms. If you go to and say that I want to start working with your partner who is doing medical legal, in all probability they would not understand what you're talking. So there is a huge gap in understanding also. I get asked by so many of my friends in High Court, whenever I go to the High Court or whenever I go to some other forums where medical legal is not practiced, I get this question very often that what is the problem with doctors? What problems do they have? Okay, what is it that you do this? What is this medical legal and us doctor ko kya problem ho sakta hai? So that is a question which I always get asked. I'm always asked, and that only shows the ignorance of even the legal fraternity in the country, because every profession has their own set of problems. Interestingly, medical profession is highly governed and legislated. Okay, it is not the case that they are not governed by any laws. They are governed by many laws. And if you want to start a hospital in this country, you require permissions from at least 40 to 45 different entities. right from nuclear power corporations, municipal corporation, everything. That radiology machine, that USG machine that you use, the CT scan, the MRI, there is radioactive content in that. Atomic Energy Commission's permission is also required, because even if it is there, even if a small amount of radioactive substance is there in any equipment, you require permissions. So it is not that they are not governed, they need to maintain lot of registers. If you are running a private limited hospital company, if you are running a hospital under a limited company, whether it's private, public, then there are added labor law compliances also, which normally is applicable to a lot of other companies in India. So overall, it's not the case that it is easy to start business or easy to do business. It is not. Starting a hospital in this country requires a lot of dedicated effort, lot of investment, and a lot of compliance is also required. So medical legal career can be divided into litigation practice, which we call as medical negligence. In USA, it is called malpractice laws, where people are sued, where hospitals are sued for a for faulty treatments or a deficiency of services, or if someone even administrative lapses, people are sued. So in India, it is mostly governed under the Consumer Protection Act, and all the civil liabilities arising out of medical negligence are mostly centered in the consumer courts. So consumer courts are also not very glamorous courts, let me tell you. Situation in the consumer forums is as bad as any other district court or a civil court. There is huge pendency there also. Every state has got its own structure of consumer forums, and every state has got its own set of problems. Here in Mumbai, we don't have judges. In my entire state of Maharashtra, we have problems of judges. There are vacancies. There are petitions which are filed in the Supreme Court for appointment of judges in the consumer forums. There are administrative issues, lack of infrastructure. So again, you may be representing a very big hospital chain or a very glamorous doctor, very rich doctor, or a very high profile hospital in a very high profile case, but that case still goes to the consumer forum if it is a civil case. And in all probability, you may not find up to date infrastructure like high courts or Supreme Courts. So that again is one of the facts of this career. Nowadays I get asked, I've seen people not choosing litigation only because there are no air conditions in the courts. That's what I came to know from one of the students of a very big private university. I don't want to take names here, but sir, वो क्या होता है ना कि courts में AC नहीं होता है. My college also has AC rooms, and my hostel room is also AC, and I'm so used to the AC that I can't practice without AC. So with such kind of thing, it's always better to have a reality check. Okay, having said this, it's a very niche area. For me, it started by default. I never planned it. Someone came to me with a case because I was a junior lawyer and I was looking for work. I took the opportunity because I found it interesting. And that's the reason why I took first case almost 17 to 18 years back. And that was given to me by one of the directors of one of the leading hospitals here in Mumbai. And it's a very known hospital. And they were looking for lawyers for fighting one case which was filed against their cardiologist in the consumer forum here in South Mumbai. And she was not finding any lawyer to fight the case because none of the lawyers, she approached a lot of mainstream lawyers. And she was told that no, we can't do this. There are too many medical facts involved. A lot of jargon which we don't understand. Plus, people never gave it a very serious thought. So that's why she couldn't find a known face. So I was sitting with one of my seniors who had come down from Delhi in Mumbai, and while sitting in his chamber, she was also sitting. I didn't know why she was sitting. So when she went inside to meet my senior, she was wanting to brief him. Like any other lawyer, he also said, I didn't know, this is too small for me and I don't go to the consumer forums. But you know what? My junior is sitting outside. You call him, you meet him, and he will be more than happy to take it up. So that is how I started doing this. And since that day until today, I think so, I have continuous flow of cases. I took it up primarily because I needed some work. That's one thing. And second thing, I thought after reading the papers was that there is a lot of experience and lot of learning which can happen here. Because I used to love science and I am a commerce graduate. I never got an opportunity to do science for some reason. So maybe that was my bad decision. In my after my 10th standard, I took up commerce. I should have taken science. But during 10th standard, when I was in school, things were different, and we didn't have Google that time. We didn't have any mobile phones, so our information sources were very limited. So I went with the flow. I should have taken science. Having regretted that, I thought this was my opportunity to get back into field of science, because I enjoyed reading that brief. And obviously, it took me a lot of time to understand. First initial years were very tough. I used to sit with medical dictionaries. I used to ask questions to the doctors, which to them probably sounded very stupid. But yeah, but if you want to understand something, you need to go into the depth of it. And that gave me a lot of insight into the working of a hospital, working of a medical professional. What are the, obviously I cannot say that I can prescribe a medicine. It's illegal for me to do that. But I have a fair degree of knowledge as to now how things work. And I confidently can say that I can run a hospital now after working in this field for last 17 to 18 years. And it is it's saddening that it is still not acquired that kind of specialization status. Few universities offer diploma courses. uh, I don't know, maybe Niharika or someone will be able to help you with the universities, but I know for sure that Symbiosis offers a course in Symbiosis Pune offers a course in medico-legal laws. NLU Bangalore also offers a diploma, if I'm not wrong. It's online. And there are a lot of other small institutions who offer 2 months, 3 months courses. But there is, even in Mumbai University here, even in I think so National Law University Mumbai, they offer one medical laws paper in their final year. But that's it. Beyond that, there is no focused approach to this sector. So all the learning you have to do on your own. And if you're willing to do that, if you have some interest in the field of science and medicine, then I think so that would be this would be the best opportunity for you to take it up. Because at the end of the day, what matters is your passion. And I'm in this profession for so long, and I'm doing medical legal. It's purely because I'm passionate about it. And I don't necessarily look at money as the source of being in this medical legal sector. There are a lot of other things that can be done over and above standing in a consumer court and defending a doctor or a hospital. There are a lot of compliance work which comes with this in this field, and that also is a very good source of revenue. Plus, there are a lot of contractual issues also that these hospitals face. So there is an element of general contractual law application also here. There is so, and plus there is litigation in the form of medical negligence cases. So uh, in one sector you will get to see all the shades of other laws. So if it is a big hospital chain, like Fortis or someone, then they have they have 14 15 hospitals all over the country, and they have a lot of contractual issues also. They have vendors, they procure medicines, they give out contracts. So there are a lot of contract drafting also which happens, which we do. Plus, there are a lot of clinical trials also which are happening at these hospitals. They collaborate with the pharmaceutical companies, so there are a lot of permissions also which are required. There are a lot of consents which have to be taken from the, because clinical trials are done by the pharmaceutical companies, but they are conducted in the hospitals. So if anything goes wrong with the patient or the subject, then it is the hospital who is also responsible vicariously. So that's the reason why from the hospital end also do a lot of documentation, standardization, SOPs. A lot of scope is there. And if you are passionate about science, if you are open for learning new things, because every medical case is different, and because the patient is different, and his suffering is different, and his pain or his treatment protocol is different, so you get to learn a lot about medical science. I'm now so used to reading those medical books and literatures, that because I have to cite them in the court and I have to go through it, and there are a lot of difficulties in reading it. So I have to sit with the doctors, I have to understand it. They also have to spend time with me because ultimately their reputation is at stake. And consumer forums are not very kind to the doctors or medical fraternity. The compensations are given in lakhs and sometimes in crores also. So that's the reason why it becomes very imperative for them to be legally compliant. So there is a demand which is increasing post COVID. A lot of hospitals have realized the need for having some lawyers on board. So nowadays we are seeing the trend of uh, you know hospitals having in-house lawyers also, but they want a company secretary and a lawyer. So so if you have that kind of a combination degree, then I think so your chances of getting a job in the medical sector is up. And there are a lot of, another breed of competitors, I would say, is a lot of doctors are taking up and doing LLB. So I have seen so many doctors who get sued, and over a period of their case, they realize that boss, अगर हम ही lawyer होते तो क्या होता. So I know at least 5-7 such people who have now left medical practice and who have taken, they have done LLB, they have taken their sanad and are now wearing a band and practicing in the courts. Okay, so these are the bunch of people who we have to compete with. If you are a lawyer, and if you are only doing medical legal, then the biggest competition comes from these doctors who have given up their medical practices and who have taken up law, done their law, and and are practicing now. The reason why I'm saying they are competitors is because the other doctor believes the doctor more. Okay, so if a person wants to give you a case, or the doctor turned lawyer a case, the chances of that doctor turned lawyer getting a case is much higher, because they are more confident with that person, because that fellow understands his language. That fellow understands how a medicine is administered, or what are the reactions which a body can have. Though all the doctors don't understand everything about each other, they have a basic MBBS degree, but what I can understand, maybe he can understand little better. Okay, so that is how the competition works. But ultimately, what happens is, uh, the knowledge of a procedural law, which I have acquired over a period of last 23 years, like conducting a trial, or Evidence Act, or CPC, cross examination, or the finer nuances of, or a civil case. That comes only with the experience of working in hardcore legal sector. So this doctors turned lawyers, they don't have that kind of experience, because they come at a late stage in their career, in their age, in this legal profession. So we definitely, if you have done your law, if you have practiced in trial courts, if you know how a trial is conducted, if you know the procedure law, evidence, then you definitely have an edge over such competitors. And competition is always healthy. After all, at the end of the day, your result, which that is counts. If you have 100% success rate, then nothing speaks better than your success rate. So from that point of view, uh, I still look at this as a career in waiting, because I still feel that lot of things needs to be done, because universities and colleges are not putting too much of spotlight on this sector as a career option. But if you are self-driven, if you are self-motivated, and if you are willing to learn, then I don't think so anything should stop you from getting into this field. You need to find a good chamber to actually learn this. If you go to a doctor and say that I want to do medical legal work, I'm sure he's not going to give you that. So that's why a first step for you would be to actually find a chamber in your area or in your city, wherever you are, a person who is doing medical legal work, and work with that person for some time, get to know your basics. And drafting is very important in medical laws. The medical jurisprudence that way is quite evolved. The Supreme Court has passed a lot of judgments in this, in this field. So the law is very evolved, and recording of, filing of written statements, evidence affidavits, expert opinions. These are the things which actually goes long way in winning a medical legal case. So that's why early drafting, learning how to draft is extremely important, and that is a base for your case. So that's why you have district forums, state commissions, national commission, and then Supreme Court. So you have four forums that you have to deal with, and by the time you reach Supreme Court, what matters is only your drafting. You can't add anything new at the stage of Supreme Court, because as you go higher up in the appeal, the questions of facts are not be added. Whatever you have done at the ground level is the one which you have to carry it forward. So that's why your base, your groundwork, your foundation has to be superb, and that's the key to a medical legal success, I feel. So from that point of view, I feel that if any one of you are interested in doing this, joining this field, you should join. Money is also there. It's not that it's not a very high paying sector. You do get good salaries also. We are always on lookout for people who actually are interested in this, because it's an ongoing process. And work has also increased post COVID. And I feel that if you have patience, and if you can give time for yourself to learn a new area of law, then it's a very good area to be in. Not many lawyers are there here, and I think so we have still a lot of scope for people to join in this field and share the work, because there is a lot of work which is coming, and I don't think so there is any dearth of work. So if any one of you is seriously interested in practicing medical legal, then I think so after you finish your graduation, have a focused approach, and don't waste your time in doing things which doesn't interest you. If this interests you, then find a person or a chamber who is willing to offer you a job or an internship. Start with an internship, see how it goes. If you like the work, then obviously the chamber or or the lawyer or a counsel will be more than happy to give you an offer. So first see how it goes, because it requires a lot of technical inputs. It can be a little bit intimidating at times, but again, you need to be self-driven. And if you can do that, then I think so sky is the limit. And there is a great learning curve here. It's tremendous learning curve. And money is important in life, no doubt about it. You guys must have paid hefty fees for the national law schools that you may be joining, but we never thought about money in our earlier days. So for us, I belong to a generation where money was not important. For us, learning was important. But now I appreciate the fact that yes, money is also equally important. But you can't earn good money if you don't learn properly. So, okay, so so it's like a hen came first or a chicken. So whether you want to earn first or you want to learn first, that's in your hands. I would always recommend to learn first and then earn, because money will come eventually. And I don't think so there is a dearth of money in this sector. But if you want to earn good money, you need to learn good. Only then you will be able to deliver a good verdict, or you'll be able to deliver a good result for your client. So with this, I guess if there are any questions, if I can answer the questions which you have already taken in the poll, I'll be more than happy. And if you still want me to talk on anything, this is just randomly, I have just shared my thoughts with you people. So if you have anything to ask me, please feel free. Niharika?
Thank you for the wonderful briefing, sir. It was definitely a very good start to the session. You have already answered almost all the questions we had prepared. So we just run through the questions.
No, you ran through the questions. Yeah, I will be more than happy to be more specific.
Right, sir. You have already explained what a medico-legal sector is, but could you describe your day-to-day responsibilities as a medico-legal lawyer?
What happens is, there are no day-to-day responsibilities as such. Erika, if you ask me, matter comes to you. Okay, the first thing you need to do is to understand what the matter is. There are a lot of technical issues in the case. Identify those. And in a consumer court now, we have this 45 days deadline of filing a written statement. It's a settled law by the Supreme Court now. Consumer courts cannot give you more than 45 days for filing a written statement. If that opportunity is missed, you're gone, because then you can't file a evidence affidavit if your written statement is not there. So which means it's as good as an ex parte case. So you literally have to run against the time, because when you start looking at those indoor case papers which comes to you from the doctor, the number one challenge is understanding their handwriting. If you can tell me one doctor in the country whose handwriting you have understood, or if you can show it to me and if I have understood it, I think so I will do anything for YLCC. Let me tell you that. I'm so confident of this, that no doctor has a handwriting which is legible. It is the most illegible people in the world, I guess. And it's not the case in India, it's everywhere. Normally now we have electronic medical records also, but in emergencies they don't type on the computer, they write. And most of the mishaps happens in emergencies, in ICUs and casualty wards, basically when people come to them in emergencies. So that's why handwriting is very important. We don't understand, we take instructions, and that get going on filing of the written statement. And understanding the problem, so see, the line of treatment which a doctor gives to a patient is very important. And unless you understand that, you have really not won the case for him. Okay, so that's why calling a client to your office and taking detailed instructions is the single most task and the challenging aspect of this. Other than that, it is like any other case. Okay, so when it comes as a litigation case, any other lawyer in any other chamber would do the same thing, and I do the same thing. So that's why there are no special needs for this, except for the fact that your mind has to start thinking from the medical point of view. Okay, you need to be a little more alert about what are the government guidelines. Like in COVID times, government issued a lot of guidelines. WHO issued guidelines. Treatment protocols were also given. There were a lot of journals and a lot of research papers also which were published. Okay, and a lot of experimental treatments were happening also. So all these things were there, and a lot of mishaps also happened because of this. We are doing a case right now. Only yesterday only I got one case from Palghar district here in Maharashtra, just on the outskirts of Mumbai. And it's a death due to COVID. And as it may sound simple that in COVID a lot of people died, but the patient has made out a fairly decent case for himself. And that's why it's now a challenge before us as to how we are going to defend it. So for that, the first thing is that we are now digging out the COVID protocols which were issued during that time by the government, and WHO. So research is also equally important. But other than these 2-3 things, I don't think so there is anything specific that is required. It is just like any other case, to be very honest with you, but the focus is different.
So what were the key factors that attracted you to this domain, and what were the ones which have still kept your interest intact?
I'll tell you the second answer first. I am still here because there are not many other people. Okay, it's if you see in Mumbai, it's we are only few lawyers who are doing this, very few. I can count them on my fingers. And we have exclusively working for hospitals and doctors, and that's why we have kind of a oligopoly. We are 2 or 3 of us who actually divide this work in Mumbai, and we don't take matters against hospitals and doctors to avoid conflicts of interest, because most of the hospitals have represented and a lot of doctors have represented in the last 17-18 years now, either whether it's in Mumbai or in Delhi. So that is the biggest motivator, that the competition is relatively less. Okay, so we don't have AZBs or DSKs of the world competing in this sector. So let's be a little practical. Okay, when I started my practice, I was working with Mullah, and I was into just banking sector. I realized it very soon in my life, and thankfully, few of my seniors also helped me there. That either you become a drop in an ocean, or or you remain there. Because all these big law firms are oceans of humanity, and you are just lying somewhere in a corner. Like for example, in Mullah, I didn't have a desk for sitting for 6 months. So I used to be like a music chair. So once my senior used to go to the court, I used to sit on her desk. When she used to come back, I had to stand. I have sat inside my partner's chamber and I have worked. So they really don't care. Okay, so you have to be on your own. You have to care for yourself. And that's the reason why I chose this, because there were not many people in the first place. I got my first case because I needed work. At that time, this was not in my mind that I will one day be doing this only. Other than this, we have a team of 5 to 6 lawyers. I do everything. Like you introduced, we do property laws, we do probates, we do testamentary work, we do IPR, we do trademark filings, we do trademark hearings also. And over and above that, I do arbitrations also for Union of India. I work for Central Railways, Western Railways are my client. So we have a variety of work. But if you ask me my personal interest, I'm known for medical legal, and that happened by default. And I must thank those people who gave me my first work. And the reason why I'm still here is that there is still no competition as such. Okay, there are 2 or 3 of us here in Mumbai. There are some doctors in Delhi, and between us, we see each other. We have specific courts in Delhi. When we go to the National Commission, I go to only that court. I don't know what is happening in the other court. Okay. But in that court, everyone who goes there are all lawyers who are doing medical legal practice. Okay. And there are not many. And that's why I said that there is a lot of scope in this, and we can absorb a lot of youngsters also in this. So that's why we need people who have interest in this.
Right, sir. So, what are the most significant changes in the medico-legal sector after the COVID-19 pandemic? And from the regulatory perspective, did COVID result into more flexibility and easement or more restrictions for the sector?
So, actually, COVID has not given any, post-COVID, no, the treatments have become very expensive. That's number one. So from the consumer point of view, it's not a very good thing. Insurance premiums have gone up phenomenally. If you have noticed, health insurance premium has gone up substantially post COVID. A lot of insurance companies have increased the premiums, and that's also not good from the consumer point of view. If you ask me from the regulatory point of view, government during that period had issued those 80-20 guidelines, where they virtually took over the hospitals and the bed capacity during COVID pandemic, during the first wave, second wave, third wave. And virtually every big private hospital was virtually nationalized. Okay, and all the beds were filled by the municipal corporation, and every hospital had one municipal employee sitting and coordinating the beds for the patients. So, and the hospital administration couldn't do anything. They were just looking and watching types, and they're just giving treatments. So, they had no control over their own hospitals. So, that resulted in lot of disgruntlement, and lot of hospitals came. We filed a petition in the Nagpur High Court also, Nagpur bench of the Bombay High Court, and where we challenged that 80-20 GR, and plus the treatment cost was also capped by the government during the COVID times. They gave a rate card where every treatment was quantified, and a hospital couldn't charge more than that. But like you must have read in the newspapers, hospitals came out with unique ways of taking out money from the people. So then that resulted in audits and municipal corporations filing cases against them for overcharging. So all these things have led to overall increase in the cost, and nothing substantial on the legislative front. 2019 Consumer Act has been notified now. So what has changed is the fact that now patient can sue you where he stays. Okay, so it has become easier for the patients to sue a doctor and a hospital. So if you have come to Mumbai for a treatment, but you are from Madhya Pradesh, Indore, or Bhopal, then you can sit in your own town and hometown and sue the hospital in Mumbai there. That is a big challenge now. So now we have to run everywhere in the country. Initially, we were very sure that if Bombay Hospital is my client, I know that we are going to get sued only in Mumbai. We are not going to go out of Mumbai. But now that's not the case. We are getting cases from all over the country now. So that has become a big problem for this sector now, the new Consumer Act. And plus unfair trade practice definition has been widened. So if you can't catch them on the treatment part, if they have overcharged you, or if they have given you deficiency in their service, then they can go there. So overall, the new Consumer Protection Act has increases grip on the medical sector. That's what is the regulatory change, I feel, post COVID.
Right. So artificial intelligence is making rapid strides in the healthcare sector, and technology leaders all over the world, and also many new startups are introducing promising AI solutions to address the country's healthcare needs. What are your views on introduction of AI in the Indian healthcare sector, and do you think it will bring in more?
It is already there. We have so many. I have a lot of clients who have online platforms, which are obviously for doctors, and the pharmaceutical industry is very active in this AI sector. So the predictive feature of AI is definitely in. So a lot of doctors are using this apps now. So as you fill in the patient detail, if you are a patient, if you go to a doctor, nowadays you see them sitting in front of a computer. Invariably, they are using an app to fill in your data. So as they fill in your symptoms, the AI in that starts giving them some recommendations that, okay, this may be the reason why you are having a cough, or why are you having a cold. It could be because of this. As the doctor types the symptoms, the AI in that particular software starts giving them recommendations, and medical recommendations also. Obviously, doctor it is up to the doctor to take that advice or no. It is his clinical judgment, but AI is here, and it is definitely here to stay, and that will definitely increase the reach of the consumers. In a sense, it will be better. Telemedicine is also increasing. A lot of consultations are happening using mobile apps. You have this 1mg pharmacy. All of these apps are giving added consultation feature also, where you can reach out to a doctor even anywhere in the country, sitting anywhere. You don't have to physically go. Online consultation, telemedicine, that is what is called, and that is happening. So AI will definitely benefit this sector.
Right. And do you think it will invite more legal troubles in the process?
It will, because there is a difficulty. Medicine is not a specific science like chemistry or physics. Every body is different. Every human body differs in its reactions to a medicine. There is a limitation to which AI can predict. And if you blindly follow that, then there is bound to be some adverse reaction somewhere down the line, the chain. So that's why if you are a doctor who doesn't want to apply your own mind, then maybe you will be in trouble someday. So AI can be an aid, but it cannot substitute actual physical examination. So if you start substituting AI, completely your physical examination or treatment with AI, then that's going to be a doomsday. So that's why you use it as a tool or an aid, but cannot be a substitute for what is physical examination. So I would see a lot of cases coming up, but it's too early right now. It is there, but it is in a limited form, but it is evolving.
Right. What do you think of the impact of the advancements like brain mapping and narco analysis in the laws of evidence and criminal jurisprudence? And does the scope of forensics fall within the medico-legal sector?
So that's such a good question. So if you ask any forensic doctor, forensic medicine expert, he thinks he is the best lawyer in the country, because forensic study always involves study of criminal jurisprudence, and it also involves study of a lot of judgments also. Again, if you see, a very good branch of medicine, but not a very sought after. You ask any graduate any student who has given NEET, this year and ask him his preference or her preference of choice, forensic comes at the end. Forensic medicine is not a top choice of students, medical students in the country. So that's again a very the role which a forensic expert plays in America in deciding or gathering of evidence. In India, it's not even 10 to 15%. So it's grossly underutilized. Our government-run laboratories are totally underutilized. Means they don't have infrastructure. The forensic laboratory here in Mumbai, which is at Kalina, uh, has a pendency of cases, and an average report takes almost 2 or 3 years to to come out. If a police sends them some samples for forensic analysis, it in all probability by the time they touch that sample, it's contaminated. So there is a shortage of people, laboratory equipments, and forensic experts are very few in the country because the students are not taking forensic medicine. So that's why a lot of focus has to go in this. And I think so forensics can win lot of convictions to the police, uh, provided they give them right kind of laboratories, equipments, machinery to analyze. It will be definitely important. As far as narco analysis is concerned, I feel it's still not a very it is not a very 100% proof. Okay, there are controversies surrounding that, but it may not be a concrete piece of evidence, but it definitely helps police in gathering evidence. So it's a tool again. It's a aid. It's a tool in evidence gathering. That is what I think.
So Saksham asks, is this right to say that by increase in the medical insurance, there has been seen a big shift in the medico-legal sector?
See, medico-legal sector saw a very big shift post 2013 when that Amri case was decided by the Supreme Court and 13 crore odd compensation was given. So according to me, that was more of a watershed than this insurance increase, basically, because after 2013, the compensations which were in lakhs now started going in crores, basically. So, and plus the new Consumer Act 2019 has again saw a lot of ease of filing cases. So these are the two watershed moments in the medical legal field. As far as insurance premium is concerned, uh, it's affecting directly the patients. I'm not very sure if doctors are getting affected or not. Doctors are still making, the hospitals are still making what they are making. So insurance premium, the cost of insurance premium has gone up. So if you have to take a premium tomorrow, probably you will have to pay more cost than what I took insurance premium 5 years back. That was a pre-COVID insurance that I'm having right now. But obviously, now the every year increase in premiums have affected everyone, and it has not really impacted on the litigation per se, to answer your question specifically.
So, where should the students interested in the medico-legal sector begin to gain knowledge and skill sets from? And are there any books or courses which you would recommend to get a deeper understanding of the medico-legal jurisprudence?
So there are various books available on Amazon. If you just give medical legal, if you just type medical legal, you will find a lot of Indian authors who have written the books. Now I don't remember, I don't recollect the authors offhand right now, but I can share the list with the YLCC team, and they can forward it or circulate it in your WhatsApp groups. The biggest learning curve is actually sitting in front of a doctor and understanding his case. That cannot be, there is no specialized books available, but yes, as far as medico legal is concerned, there are some compilation of books. There are some bare act compilations which are professional used to have a compilation of bare acts for medical laws. They have stopped publishing that long back. It's out of print now. But there are other books which are available. There are some commentaries which will give you some basic information. I'll share those details with YLCC team.
You share the scope of medico-legal field in foreign countries.
Actually, in foreign countries, no. Especially, see, it's in USA, it is highly specialized. there are a lot of law firms which are actually doing malpractice laws. If you go on Google, there are a lot of universities which are offering 2 years LLM courses also for that, master courses on medical laws. And it's a very big practice because they get sued in millions. Okay, it's not like the value of rupee versus dollar makes the claim in America much more higher than that in India. But what I can say is that in UK and in USA, there are dedicated solicitor firms and law firms which are practicing these laws. And if you want to do masters there or post graduation in medical laws there, and if you do that, then there is a good scope for you to get absorbed some in one of those law firms.
So if you were hiring interns to assist you, what would be the skills you would be looking for in them?
It's a good question. I'm looking for hiring interns. So if you are listening and if you are interested, you can contact YLCC team and they can put you on to me. I'm my whether it's medical, legal, or any other field, I only look at very few basic things in an intern. I look at time commitment. Because I feel it's very important for you to give me a quality time in the office for me to teach you something. If you come for half a day if you come only for a half a day, it's not going to be of any help. If you come only for 15 days, it's again not going to be of any help. So time commitment, minimum 2 to 3 months. If you are interested, then I'll be more than happy to observe some of your candidates here. Another thing which I look for is desire to learn, because medical legal is not a rocket science. Okay, if I can do it, you can do it also. That's as simple as that. Okay, but I took a lot of efforts. You will also have to take that much of efforts. If you don't like reading, if you want to frequently go on Google and just try to take shortcuts, then it doesn't work here. Okay, you need to be dedicated. You need to like reading, because there is a lot of reading involved in this. And you need to sit patiently with your client and take instructions point by point, line by line. You need to understand those medical records, and a lot of perseverance and patience is also required. So these are the only three things I could look into a person. I don't expect 100% results, or I don't expect miracles from any of my interns, because you're not supposed to give me results. You're supposed to give me hard work. And if you are willing to work hard, I'm willing to take you. That is the only thing I look at from if I have to hire an intern. Other than that, you need to stay in Mumbai, and you need to be willing to travel, because our office is in South Bombay, and that is where we are. And we don't offer virtual internships. So, if you want to bombard me with messages on my LinkedIn for virtual internships, please don't do that. I don't offer that.
So last question for today. Could you please guide us on how to get internships as a law student in cities where there are no firms dealing with medico-legal sector exclusively?
So I'll tell you, okay, this is a very serious problem, because in the smaller towns, patients also are not very aware about their own rights. Okay, but there are in every city or every town, there is one doctor who has a little bit of a higher legal acumen. Okay, and he calls himself as a medico-legal consultant, quote unquote. Okay, and that is a term which you need to look at. So if you have any doctor relative, or if you have any friend whose father, mother, sister, brother is a doctor, you can ask them, ki, yaar, in your city, is there any medical legal consultant? Okay, or what do you do if you have any legal problem? Ask a doctor, what do you do if you have a legal problem? Where do you go? He will tell you, or she will tell you where they go, and that would be the person for you to go and shadow, or be behind them, saying that, sir, I want to intern with you, or madam, I want to intern with you. That is how you will have to start looking at people. Otherwise, there is no central database. There is no list of lawyers. I think so. I saw one question on the chat. Where do we find these medical legal lawyers? Another way of probably doing is going to a consumer forum in your district and asking department people there, who are the lawyers who are representing hospitals and doctors. That could be another way of looking at it.
What would be the final advice for the audience members?
I feel that it is a good field. Please come, please join. and young generation, young blood, young knowledge is required. In every legal field, we require youngsters. Law is evolving, and young minds are evolving more than before. With people like with tools like AI and machine learning, youngsters are very adaptive towards this. So we require people like this. So that's why let's if you have that kind of passion in you, please do come and join Medico-Legal Sector.
Thank you. We come to the end of the session. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
very
much
much.
for joining, sir.
Thank you.
And I'm sure it was very insightful for everyone present here. Thank you again, sir, for scheduling out time on a Saturday evening and being with us
My
here
pleasure.
today.
My
And
pleasure.
I'm
My
sure
pleasure.
everyone made a proper analysis of the opportunity cost. That is why everyone is here. So thank you
Thank
all
you.
for being present here. Thank you, sir, once again.